Oh, ja. Hier ist Flavi von Giga und mein Kollege Kamal und ich, wir haben heute die Gelegenheit gehabt, den großen Curtis, aka 50 Cent Jackson, zu interviewen. Er hat uns von seiner Jugend erzählt, von seinen Anfangszeiten. Er hat ein bisschen für uns gesungen und er hat uns von seinen Träumen erzählt. All das und mehr seht ihr jetzt. Viel Spaß.
So, hello, Mr. Cent.
How you doing, man?
I'm fine. My name's Kamal. This is also my first question. I always wanted to ask you this question. You had a game, it's called Blood on the Sand.
Right.
And there's a guy, terrorist. His name is Kamal.
Yeah.
So I always wondered, because I think Kamal is such a beautiful name, how you came up with the name?
Well, I didn't actually come up with that name. They, because of the setting that they were actually creating for the game, and it was like they created these storyboards for it, and I approved it.
Okay.
I approved the actual name, and then because it was a cool name, and then even the other characters in there, they gave everyone a name.
Mm-hmm.
Showed you each one of the individual people that they actually had, and it was so much that you go through and you go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that name was really nice
Yeah.
one, so yeah.
So we're here today, you're here today to promote your new headphones, SMS,
Right.
by 50 Cent. Just really quick, tell us what differentiates them from most other headphones on the market, and especially maybe the ones that are out by other artists, your colleagues.
What differentiates it is first is the sync headset. It's a wireless headset. It utilizes a Clear technology. This is a 16-bit lossless wireless technology. It allows you to be 50 feet away from a single source and sync 4 headsets up to the same musical experience by choice, and has a bass boost on void, is volume up and down control, fast forward and rewind from actual mobile situation. You don't have to actually touch the device to do it. And in order to keep the street on-ear headset from being more durable, we had to utilize a nylon away from the polyurethane that we actually had, so it makes it stronger than usual, so it won't just break. A lot of the companies kind of think that as long as they're actually going up in actual sales, it would actually represent people breaking the product and buying more. So why fix it? And
Right. Okay. Well, now that we got this out of the way, what's your favorite joke?
my favorite joke.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite joke. Like you know how you have a joke that you say all the time.
Yeah.
Like your favorite joke.
Well, oh no, I don't.
Yeah, like a favorite joke.
Well,
like,
no, just one you heard. Maybe you don't have to tell it all the time. Just one you heard you thought was really funny. If anyone jumps to mind. Right now.
It's just I hear really quick responses to things, like when people do something that's funny, like something's happening and a person has a response to it, and it kind of has a
Situational comedy, basically.
real witty
Okay.
response and real fast. It'll tickle me for a long period of time. Like I'll play it over and over in my head. It'll be a funny moment.
All right.
But I don't have a specific joke that I tell.
Well, I always forget like the result of it, so I
Right.
tend to not tell them. Between your headphones and your music, you've got a movie coming up. There's a new album. How are you managing? How is that possible?
Well, these projects, like for the music, I've been creating over the last 3 years. You know, it's been 3 years since I launched the last album, and I've been writing material, trying to put together the kind of content that'll impact as hard as Get Rich or Die Trying.
Mm.
And the process it's been fun, because there was pressure at first, and then it's like I got to get this right and work on it. And then when I put things out and I see the response from the public is accurate, like what I expected, it makes me feel like I have my finger on the pulse of what's going on, and that when I actually launch the record, that it'll be something that has a strong enough impression on that time period, because I feel like music marks time, and that's really what's important to me.
Okay.
You know.
And maybe like if you see all the different things that you do, like which one is the most important? I mean, you started as a musician, and is there a difference between 50 Cent in music, 50 Cent as a businessman, and 50 Cent as an actor, and well, Curtis Jackson in private?
Right. You know what you say? There's a difference between all of them, because we're in a different setting, and you got to conduct yourself differently under different circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say music, people say it without finishing the statement. It's the music business. You know, once it's actually a product being developed to go on sale, it's a business. And in the past, it was almost taboo for you to be conscious of business. You had to just be an artist. But when you see how many behind-the-scenes music stories of artists just not having anything in the end, it's because the people that they left responsible for the actual business portion of it was more conscious of their comfortability than the actual making the right decisions
Okay.
for them, you know.
So I'd like to go back a couple of years to when you started making music. What sort of got you going? What inspired you to start rapping? Because you had a much different background back then.
Nothing more than just enjoying the art form, just enjoying it and listening to other artists and their choices. And then I had an opportunity. I came across Jam Master Jay, and he actually mistook me for Kenny Anderson at the time. He played professional basketball for the Knicks, for the Nets, and I actually had a Nets jersey on, and I was like, I had a Benz because I was, you know, actively doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing, but I had some money to, you know, to look good, and I was going into a nightclub. There was an actual a club that would broadcast live in New York City. It was Bentley's.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up going in with Jam Master Jay because he came to the car. I was like, yes, Jam Master Jay. Like, I said, yo, hold up, we're going with you. After he mistaken me for Kenny, I pulled over, jumped out, and we ended up going with him. And he, I kind of hustled my way into an opportunity to make music with him because he was like talking to me about what he wanted to do in the future with his record company, J&J Records. And I was like, yeah, I'm an artist. I didn't tell you I'm an artist. Again, I'm making all this stuff up. I just like the music. And he took me to the studio and he gave me like a CD. It was like a beat tape. It wasn't a CD, it was actually a cassette at that point. And it's like a production playing in a long, actually like it was about 3 minutes or 4 minutes long, the length of the song. And what I did is I went and I wrote a rap to it, and it had an area that was supposed to be a chorus area that was repetitive, but it wasn't in a 4-bar cadence to repeat or 8-bar cadence. So just, I didn't have any song structure. He liked what I said, he liked how I sounded, and was like, where's the hook?
Right.
And I'm like, this is the hook right here. And he's like, that's not a hook. That's like some shit that you said a couple times right there. And he's like, and I'm like, oh. And he's like, he took it and took sonically what you would use as a producer, that tick, 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 tick,
Right.
the tick that would indicate that you're on a 1, would say, you hear that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I got to repeat right there. You know what I'm saying? Like he explaining it to me like
All the basics.
a whole elementary explanation. Look, and 1, 2, and 1 again. See, that's how you count. That's how you count bars. Like, and then go. I was like, oh, okay. And then I actually did it into that 4-bar cadence. And then after I got comfortable doing that, he would make me record the chorus to the song 2 and 3 times before he picked one of the choruses that I can finish writing the song to. So it gave me a habit of using multiple melodies on actual songs. So, you know, like on records like P.I.M.P., you hear, I'm a P.I.M.P., I don't know what you heard about me. And then you hear it go, I'm about my money, you see, you can holler at me. If you with me, I'm P.I.M.P. Like, it's 2 different versions. I could have used that version as the actual chorus.
Right.
And put the P.I.M.P. part in the middle, but I felt like the simplicity to spelling out, you know, like what I meant in the actual song and the actual chorus would make people understand it. And later it went further than I anticipated by breaking language barriers and being something that people like recognized and enjoyed themselves to around the world.
So staying back there, how did you choose your name now? How did you come up with 50 Cent?
Well, again, having something that was simple enough for everyone to have had it in their pocket at one point made 50 Cent cool, and it was a metaphor for change. At the same time, there was a guy from Brooklyn, New York, that was a stick-up kid. He was like a robbery artist, and I utilized that at a point when I was no longer working with Jam Master Jay. I was in a situation where Columbia Records didn't understand what was driving the content or what I was inspired to write. So I wrote a song called How to Rob, and it was a strong enough first impression to be remembered throughout my entire career, because it was at a point that it was almost taboo to write a song and mention an artist's name, because prior to that you had the altercation that spawned from records between Tupac and Biggie. So the artists were competing within hip-hop culture, and they were using each other for motivation, but they were doing it from a subliminal perspective. Like Nas was writing lyrics back and forth with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z saying things, and we know what it's about, but it's not actually saying each other's name. And like, if you remember, Nas would say, 20 G bets, I'm winning them. Threats, I'm sending them. Lex 3 TV sets, the minimum. Ill sex, adrenaline, party with villains. And then Jay-Z's In My Lifetime, you'd see the Lexus with 3 TV sets. You see what I'm saying? So it would just, we'd all know, because they'd have that thing going back and forth within it. But there was no indication that there was an issue that was always there. And it spilled over later. It turned into Super Ugly and Ether. You know what I mean? Like, it just got that competitive that it ended up being a real battle. And Nas won the lyrics. So he won the battle, but he didn't quite win the war.
So, being at battles, what's the worst song you heard on your headphones so far? Like really the worst song?
Yeah, it was a song written by Shine. Because he lost his mind. He went to jail, he lost his mind, man. Like, he came back, and it's not even the same artist. Like, it's a different guy. It's interesting because they gave him a record deal without hearing the material, assuming he would be able to create something. I guess, you know, you got people that think that because you're associated to a real situation, because it was really it was a real incident that sent him away. You know, so they thought that would hold some merit, and signed him as an artist, thinking that he would be able to make some interest, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I'd have another, probably my last question. There's really a lot of stuff you're doing. Like, is there still anything that you kind of dream of?
Yeah, I have a lot of ideas, man. A lot of ideas. You know what? There's when you live within the entrepreneur spirit, and you have a ambition that you kind of run through a tunnel that doesn't end. You'll always be a new project, a new goal, or something new that you'd like to accomplish that will offer gratification, you know, and the sense of pride, or you being proud of your accomplishments, following that is priceless. And I like the way it feels, you know, so I'd like to feel it over and over. So if you ask someone who's ambitious or that considers themselves an entrepreneur, do they know exactly what they want? And they tell you yes, it's just because they know what they want at the moment. And later when you see them, they'll tell you something different, you know, and I learned that about myself in process, you know.
I got a final question, I guess. Would you like to settle once and for all a debate that's been going on our blog, at least? Apple or Android?
I like Apple stuff.
That's good enough for me. Good enough for me. Fine. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Not to say that it's better.
No, we're going to cut that out. It's fine. Just use that last soundbite. Well, thank you very much. This has been great.
Hey, what's up? This is 50 Cent. Follow the G.